Hello and welcome to COVID-19 Local Impact on Your TV. I'm Dan Malta from the Your TV studios in Peterborough. It's Friday, meaning we're going to be bringing you our Feel Good Friday show, a collection of all the feel-good stories from the week that was. No updates from politicians, no COVID-19 statistics. Now we'll get into the first story we have on hand. Members of the United Way for the City of Kawartha Lakes. They're excited to begin work on their 5-acre garden. Last year they produced 5,000 pounds of food for the community and feel the need for fresh produce will be even greater this year.
Although our office doors are closed, we are open and listening to people. We are operating from off base at our homes, working very hard behind the scenes. Working with many partners. I'm in meetings a good part of the day. We've had great success in writing grants so that we know food security issues from our perspective with the garden will be going ahead, and that we can help people who are in vulnerable situations. We are getting calls from Haliburton County as well as the City of Kawartha Lakes. And just recently, we received just over $49,000 in New Horizons Senior Program funding from the government, and we're really grateful for that. So we will be giving all of that out to help seniors. Normally, we have a touchdown celebration at the end of our campaign, so it's kind of just melted into the next year. Fundraising is going to be tough, not just for us, but for all not-for-profit organizations, unable to have events, many people not in their workplaces, many businesses struggling. And I think this is a time when we have to pull together. We'll just have to monitor the conditions and the generosity of our donors to plan for funding as we go forward. We just launched Local Love in a Global Crisis. It's our new campaign and it began this week. We have united with our other United Ways across the country to help respond to the pandemic, look at emerging needs, look at the basics that people need, and just to be there with mental health 211 places people can go and reach out for help. They have deemed community gardens essential services because we know there are going to be more people needing to access food through food programs, food banks. There will be more people in shelters. So next week we will be working with Fleming College technician and our staff and Crayola to start the season. We have made plans. We have policies and procedures in place for COVID to make sure everybody is safe. We've been very successful in obtaining grants. So there are some grants that will be for some additional programming. So we have been gifted a big cold frame. It's like a hoop house from Fleming College. So that will help us with some early starts. For seedlings. Roger Hill has been working away in his greenhouse and has set vegetable seedlings aside for us. And we will be able to put in our water lines this year and hopefully a washing station for the vegetables on site. And we'll also be able to create some kind of a outdoor education platform right in the garden or beside the garden for kids once they can come back in. Last year we grew 5,500 pounds of food and we supported 10 food banks and 11 agencies for their food programs. And so if we can get a month-and-a-half start, we're hoping to have a bigger yield this year. So that too is very exciting. We will be hiring a co-op student from the Sustainable Ag, again, because the college is closed. They've had logistical things, we've had logistical things. And so that, I think I'm very excited about having that job person like on site. And we've already had several people calling for volunteers, but because of COVID, we have to figure that part out because you can only have 5 people sort of gathering.
The Coburg Farmers Market was to officially kick off their season this weekend. Coburg Mayor John Henderson says the Farmers Market Board requested a 1-week delay to make sure all safety protocols are in place.
I want to give credit to the Coburg Farmers Market Board, in particular Councillor Barreau, who's our liaison coordinator, and Brent Larmer, our town clerk, because between the three of them, our town clerk did an amazing report last night for council, which basically indicated if the farmers market moves towards a pickup, a form of e-commerce model that was fully supported and approved by our health unit, then that would be certainly the way to go for the start of this season. The new location would be very near where they are, but to the south parking lot on Albert Street. And of course, it would be very much like many of the situation now where you might go in your car, you make your order, you go in, you get a number, you get a code, you drive in the circuit, they load your car and off you go. So it's very much of similar to what's done in other parts of our town. Whether it be the supermarket. I know this was done when my wife went to Staples. It also was done, I believe, when she went to Canadian Tire. So very much of that framework. We were prepared last night, in fact, to push it through in a very special council meeting that we're going to hold as well. But the farmers market indicated to us that they needed more time to make this happen. And as a result, this will come back for final discussion in council on May 19th, with the hope that if council supports this, which I believe they will, because every member of council wants the farmers market to be successful. And then it would open on the 23rd of May through to December 21st, 2020. Again, it would be a different format. My understanding in the submission, at least in the report, 23 vendors were received by the health unit under what we call the Food Essential Workplace Order, which means it's all related to food, because that's one of the orders from the Premier. And so I'm very anxious, as I'm sure as the farmers market. I know they're going to have to adapt to a new model. I know it's going to cost them some money, but I'm hoping and that before we know it, they'll be up and operating. And I'm hoping Coburg citizens will continue to support it as they have in the past.
Like many organizations continuing to operate during COVID-19, Big Brothers and Big Sisters Kawartha Lakes Haliburton has had to adapt to a new way of operating.
It's definitely a big change for our organization to have to adapt to COVID like everybody else. Our team has done an amazing job, especially connecting with bigs and littles. As a big, I don't find anything different that way. I still have the support that I need if I need it.
Currently, we still are running our traditional mentoring, which happens it would normally happen in the community. It's modified a bit right now. I'm encouraging all of our matches to meet virtually. So if they can have video calls, they can write letters to each other. They could do art projects and have porch drop-offs, talking on the phone. Any means that they're able to do is awesome, with the biggest goal of just still staying connected and checking in with one another. We have our in-school mentoring program. It's a little bit on hold at the moment. We are working to try to get it switched to being virtual. We're also looking at launching a new program called Learning Support Mentoring. And it's to kind of help youth who are learning at home with any challenges they might be having. A big thing is parents have more than one youth at home, and so they have to kind of help more than one child learn, which can be a lot, especially if they're trying to work from home. So a way that we've kind of tried to target this is having a mentor sit with them virtually and help them, whether it's just sitting with them, having watching them do their work, answering any questions that might pop up, or if they have the knowledge to be able to help them work through those educational problems they might be facing. And then we would normally have some summer programming happening, so we would be kind of amping up for that right now, but we've put all of that on hold. Our primary focus is to keep everybody safe and healthy. So right now, those are our big focuses, is just helping keeping our traditional matches running, and then launching our new program to help learning at home.
I'm at a traditional match. I have a little sister. We have a great relationship, and so it's been really hard not to be with her. But we have FaceTime at least once a week. We message on the other days. And it's actually kind of really neat because we have our relationship outside of her family, and now I can see things that she has at home. She can show me, like, oh, I have this toy and I have this game, and she showed me a puzzle that she had done. So that was really nice. And over FaceTime, I've had a puzzle set out here, and just had her tell me where the pieces go, and then she was super excited that we got the puzzle done. So we're trying to still do activities over FaceTime, but it's really nice to see that other part of her, like to understand her completely like that.
Yeah, I'm still getting people signing up to be volunteers, and youth signing up on our wait list as well. It's been an adjustment period for us to learn how to navigate this new normal. So it's taking us a little bit longer to kind of address that, but we are still working towards that for sure. KawarthaLakes.BigBrothersBigSisters.ca, and they can fill out inquiry on our website there, and then from there I would get in touch with them and either email or call them, whatever works best, and then we'd go from there.
On March 17th, all operations Habitat for Humanity Northumberland had a hand in were closed until further notice, including all their current build sites, administration offices, and their popular Restore. Executive Director Megan McDonald tells Mark Rockburn the Restore is open and shoppers can start browsing items on their newly launched online store.
We're trying to figure out how we could keep coming back, and with some of the government programs that have been in place, we realized we could, and this was something a lot of other restores were starting to launch, was this concept of an online store. So our team came back at the end of April, and they worked hard, and we actually built our own platform or within Shopify, and launched, and then we've been populating it and taking pictures, and so it officially launched on Monday. And it's really important to us that it's a way for customers to shop safely from the comfort of their home and pick up curbside at the Restore. People have already been asking, with the province announcing that hardware stores can reopen, are we going to be reopening our doors? We're working on plans for that, but I will tell you that the online platform is something that we're excited about and is going to continue even if and when we do reopen our doors. So those people that really want to shop online, there's that option, and to keep themselves safe.
We all know how big of a store the Restore is, so how much is online that people can shop and browse for?
Well, so we started with there's at least something in every department. So you're right. The challenge that we will always have is that stock is continuously changing, and so it's a challenge or an opportunity. What it means is you check the store all the time online because they're adding stuff every day. So there's a fair amount to look at right now. I myself have already bought grass seed and was able to pick it up curbside, so that's pretty cool. So I think it's sort of like the store in that you got to check frequently.
So walk us through the process. Do you need to have a sign up for an account, or can you just go online and purchase something, or walk us through that, the back end of what people have to go through to be able to purchase something?
Yeah, you actually don't have to sign up for an account. You can, so that it remembers you, but you just go to shop.habitatnorthumberland.ca and you take a look at all the products, and if there's something you want to purchase, you just enter in your information. You do need to pay by either PayPal or credit card, because right now everything is contactless. One thing that we hope that we're unlike a normal Habitat Restore purchase, we are agreeing that things can be refunded if at the curbside people decide it's not what they thought it was. Not once they've left, but we are providing that kind of security so people can purchase something, and then if it really isn't what they thought, there's that refund option. And then you just check out, and then Habitat will contact you when your product's ready to set up a time to pick it up.
So walk us through now as well, when the customer comes to pick up their product, whatever they buy, if it's a, if it's a wrench or if it's a couch, walk us through that, because many different stores are using many different ideas as to what happens once you get there and pick up.
That's a really good point, because unlike our staff love to be able to help people, but we can't right now. So that's a really good point. So when someone gets there, they call and they let them know that they're there. We have people can know to do that, and then the staff will bring it out. We do need people to be able to load it into the car themselves. So if it's something big, if you bought a couch and you bring a truck, bring a friend, or maybe not a friend at this time, maybe a family member who lives, someone that can help you lift it in, because for right now our staff just aren't able to load things, and you drive away with your product.
Looking for masks, sanitizer, shields, or support in opening your business up to the public? To help businesses follow the guidelines of safe operation during the pandemic, the Greater Peterborough Chamber of Commerce has set up a one-stop shop for COVID-19 resources.
And that's really why we pulled it together. We were starting to get questions from local businesses about where they can get this, where they can get that. And we thought, you know what, we'll just reached out to our members and said, are you offering any of these products? And a few came back with some different ways of how they're approaching it. Anybody has access to the resource. It's peterboroughchamber.ca through the COVID web page that we've developed, and there's a button right on that COVID web page that says go to the hub, and then you can have a look. And we have quite a number of businesses in the community, Peterborough City and County, that are offering these products. The categories are COVID-19 signage, plexiglass shields, you got your PPE, which is masks, gloves, face shields, hand sanitizer, gowns, help with reopening, and fabricators. So we have a couple of fabricators on there. So if you need a casing to put plexiglass in, we have a number of fabricators in town that can do that. We want to make sure that everybody has what they need to reopen safely.
As COVID-19 local impact continues on your TV, we'll preview Cove Aid coming up Saturday night right here on your TV. Hello and welcome back to COVID-19 Local Impact on your TV. I'm Dan Malta. Coming up on Saturday night, the result of a cooperative effort between multiple local media and charitable organizations. PTBO Strong presents Cove Aid, an entertainment-filled evening with local artists to raise money for mental health initiatives in the area. Our station manager, David Feely, has been part of the organization process. He talks about what you can expect Saturday night at 7 p.m.
So Cove Aid was an idea that was raised by Tim Burke, who was instrumental in the founding of PTBO Strong. They were put together last year to deal with the opioid crisis and homelessness in Peterborough, and have had a number of fundraisers. And he wanted to do something to help out the community again during the pandemic. The original intent was looking at possibly a 72-hour telethon or something along those lines, but people's time to spend that long in front of the TV or online was getting a little bit hard to manage. So we've got it pared down, and it ended up being a 2-hour concert. And it'll premiere on Saturday night at 7 p.m. on your TV, as well as on PTBO Strong's Facebook page, and a number of other Facebook pages will be carrying it as well. It's all local talent. It's all local talent who produced music and entertainment from their homes during the pandemic. So you're not going to see their music videos, you're not going to see things they've done on stage in the past. It's all done for this concert. And it's very enlightening to see how much effort and how much time they put into doing these. We've also got messages from politicians, dignitaries, VIPs, just sharing their words of positivity and keeping people together during this.
Oh, well then, good job we have this space between us then.
Well, I am going to shower though, this Saturday night, because you and we have a date.
So Pete Alladay and Megan Murphy are our hosts for the program. They were very interested in getting involved in this because they feel very strongly about the cause. in order to facilitate something online like this, it took a lot of work to put together. So we were able to lean on the services of the Community Foundation of Greater Peterborough to work as our facilitator for the funds. That way we didn't have to worry about setting up portals for donations, etc. They're handling all of that through their website. So to donating is very easy. You can visit either Facebook pages or ptbostrong.ca and ptbostrong.com and click on donate right there. The money goes through the Community Foundation. You get a tax receipt issued, and you get an automatic generation of a note thanking you and acknowledging your support. All the money is being distributed through the Community Foundation and with the guidance of the United Way to make sure it gets to the agencies that really need it dealing with mental health. The effort has taken a number of people to get involved. There's been about 6 key contributors to it who have been on regular communication through Zoom, as has everyone. But there's probably another 10 that have been involved to some extent. All the local media has been involved helping to promote it and participated in that way. But the key people that have been meeting probably 2 or 3 times a week and now daily is a group of about 6. And Tim Burke leading that group, Dave Koski, Neil Morton, some of our staff here. We've got some IT people involved to make sure the broadcast goes off without a hitch. So it's been a pretty big effort to come together in an incredibly short amount of time.
More good news from Habitat for Humanity Northumberland. Executive Director Megan McDonald tells Your TV's Mark Rockburn as of Tuesday, construction on the University Avenue house in Coburg has resumed.
As many people probably know, in March, Habitat made the decision that in order to support the public health recommendations, we closed our operations, which meant we had to close our restore, our admin, and our construction site. And it was a tough decision for us to make, one that we thought was best for the long-term organization as well as for the community. Luckily, we have been slowly coming back, and we're really excited that we are able to launch an online restore, as well as our construction site is back up with staff working.
When did the construction site begin?
It actually just reopened yesterday. So we have, it's right now in all our operations, we don't have any volunteers yet. That's kind of, we're phasing in slowly, but we were able to get some staff back yesterday to help keep progress going on our project at 2224 University in Coburg.
If you didn't make the decision and you yourself and the board didn't make the decision to close the construction site down, would you have been able to continue on building the house, or would you have been one of the sides of the construction industry that would have been asked to step down and close down due to COVID-19 and the restrictions put in place by the province?
We actually, because we already had a building permit, we probably could have continued. However, at the time, Habitat for Humanity in Canada had also made a recommendation that Habitat affiliates close construction sites and really evaluate how we can continue to build our Habitat housing while keeping staff safe, and then hopefully eventually soon volunteer safe as well.
Last week, we brought you the story of the Northumberland Hills Hospital Foundation raising more than $3.4 million. We catch up with the foundation's executive director, Rhonda Cunningham, to talk about how the foundation reevaluated their goals for the upcoming year due to COVID-19.
And our entire staff team is working remotely at this point, so we're all in our home offices, but we have not stopped working towards meeting this year's objectives. So in hindsight, you know, like the pandemic arriving right at the very beginning of our fiscal year has allowed the board to sort of we're in the process of waiting to approve our budget on April the 8th. Well, we were able to amend our budget, and that's going before the board April 29th now. So we're very thankful in some respects that this has happened at the beginning of the fiscal year, because we can adjust our planning accordingly. The year that we're in right now, we had made a commitment to the hospital to fund $1 million in equipment needs over the next 12 months, $250,000 towards drug dispensing units, $150,000 towards surgical scopes, $300,000 towards what we call evergreen or IT projects, and $300,000 for contingency, items that may break down during the year that need to be replaced, and maybe they're not even on our radar. But it's good planning to have a contingency budget to allow us to react to those situations as they arise. So because we've made the decision to postpone all of our special events until the end of the summer, we're anticipating that our revenue is going to be down significantly this fiscal year. So it's going to be a challenge for us to be able to meet that $1 million objective. Even though it's quite, we raised $3.4 million at March 31st. We had committed $1 million this year because really we're in the very beginning phases of a long-term strategy to be able to address some of the more significant equipment requirements coming up down the road. So for instance, in the next 3 to 5 years out, there's a need to invest over $8 million in diagnostic imaging equipment. You can appreciate that, you just can't often raise $8 million in a cycle of 12 months. So our plan this year was to start to save money to be able to direct those larger capital requirements in the future. So unfortunately, we may not get too far into our savings, but
May 12th was the Provincial Day of Action on Litter, and the Peterborough Petes launched the Mterra Clean Community Cup in partnership with Mterra. In a bid to hoist the cup, minor hockey teams will transform from on-ice warriors to eco-warriors in a challenge to make their communities cleaner and greener. Teams will take part in a community cleanup initiative, sharing photos and videos of their efforts on social media. At the end of the season, 34 teams will be invited to a Pete's home game hosted by Mterra. During the on-ice ceremony before the game, a champion will be announced. They'll receive a $1,000 prize, and a team photo will be showcased on a custom feature wall at the Peterborough Memorial Centre. A great chance for teams to stay together during the pandemic. Now for Your TV, I'm Dan Malta. Have a great weekend, everyone. We'll see you next week.